Kamala Harris took the opportunity at the very start to walk over to Donald Trump and to put her hand out for what appeared to be a quite awkward handshake from two people who have never previously met face to face. And although the Vice President did seem nervous in her initial responses, she quickly seemed to grow in confidence, and it was very clear that her team had decided that they wanted her to prosecute the case against the former president. They wanted her to take the fight up to him directly and to needle him over many of the issues that he seems to be particularly sensitive about. This was a much more cantankerous, confrontational debate than what we saw between Biden and Trump. And Kamala Harris was more than willing to take it up to Donald Trump.
First of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
An early turning point appeared to be when the discussion turned to abortion. Now, this is one of the strongest issues politically for the Democratic Party. They know that according to polls, the majority of Americans support some form of abortion rights. And ever since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's been something that they've campaigned heavily on. When Joe Biden was the leader of the Democratic Party and the candidate for this year's upcoming presidential election, he didn't seem to have the ability to prosecute that case particularly passionately. And that was a clear difference tonight. Kamala Harris seemed very much at home when discussing the issue of restoring abortion rights in those states where they had been taken away. And it's very clear that she wants to make this a centerpiece of her election campaign. She also seemed particularly comfortable when prosecuting the case, as the Democrats put it, of saving democracy, going after Donald Trump for his role in the January 6th attack on the US Capitol and painting him as a man who is a threat to the very essence of American democracy. On the issues of immigration and the economy, Donald Trump was much stronger. He made the case that Biden and Harris have overseen a deterioration in the economic performance in America, that they had this long run of inflation, which made Americans feel poorer. On the issue of immigration, he says that they lost control of the border. And on these issues, Republicans believe that they have a strong advantage over the Democrats. Polls indicate that the American public believes that Trump is a stronger economic manager than Kamala Harris, and that they do believe that more needs to be done to secure the southern border. Kamala Harris has to walk a finer line, particularly on immigration, because this is an issue that is heavily divisive within the Democratic Party, but she quickly was mostly able to pivot onto issues that she feels are much safer ground for her. What was clear is that Donald Trump found it very difficult to not bite at the bait that seemed to be being laid out by Kamala Harris for him, when she would needle him about things like his crowd size or what different military figures have called him, including a disgrace. He felt the need to respond to them for quite a long time, taking up time that could have been better utilized, you would think, prosecuting his case on some of those issues that are much safer. There was no knockout blow between these two. Democrats will be happy that there weren't major stumbles of the sort that we saw under Joe Biden, and that Kamala Harris did seem to grow more confident as the night went on. Donald Trump repeated most of the same lines we've heard from him really since 2016, although they have been refined over time. But what was clear is he was angry. At times he appeared to be fighting a previous war, still referencing Joe Biden, the man who he was previously competing with.
We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Another takeaway was that Kamala Harris did seem to learn a major lesson from the Joe Biden debate, and that was the importance of this split screen. She knew that when Donald Trump was speaking, she would also be on the screen. And where Joe Biden at times seemed to be kind of staring off vacantly into the distance, she utilized that screen time in order to mock with her face much of what Donald Trump was saying. Extraordinarily, this was the first meeting between these two, and this may be the only meeting between these two competitors ahead of this year's election. This is, at the moment, according to the polls, an effective dead heat. With less than 2 months to go, this is anyone's race.